In those days, we didn't go into the wards until year 2. So, excuse me, when I went back to repeat, then I had to repeat another whole year of study, and then the next year we went into the wards and actually handled patients. Up until then it was all education, all theory. Excuse me. But I think we benefit from all those hours of massage. I see, I've had dealings with students in my later years, and it always comes to me that they don't really know how to handle limbs. We were taught with all those hours of massage how to just, if you're going to do anything with a knee, or how you set it up. And I've seen young students just on a flat plinth try and treat a knee, which to me just didn't, because of my training, you always set it up on and made it comfortable and before you did anything with any of the limbs. So training these days is quite different. I think the students are, they're better than what we were. They have more skills, and they have more knowledge at that same stage as we did. I think they have, of course, they have the manual skills that we didn't have in those days. I didn't learn any manual skills till I graduated, and I worked at Queen Elizabeth Rotorua. Excuse me. And it was a phys med doctor who actually taught us how to do some manual skills. I would have loved to have been able to do acupuncture back in those days. That would have that really appeals to me, acupuncture, and I've been the recipient of it in later years, and I have benefited from it. So that's something that I felt was missing. Although I know with all the training that you've got to put into the training, you don't have time to do acupuncture as well. I mean, I realise that should be an advanced one, but I wish I'd done it in my postgrad years instead of waiting till too late. We had some good times in the physio school. I particularly remember times with Brian Painter was a real gem. He always saw the funny side of everything and didn't hesitate to tell people and try to get some laughs going against one of the tutors. I met him recently, and he's still the same. Yeah, he enjoys his life. In the latter years, there, Miss Billy McLeod was the principal. Came after Enid Gotts, and she was very good, and because of her army background, she was very involved in the territorials, and she was a bit of a disciplinarian. And I remember one day, a friend of mine who was always late, and she was always having trouble with her bowels. She was always constipated. And this day, Miss McLeod burst out into her. She said, "I know what you need, Miss McParlin, is a stick of dynamite." And of course that was really quite risque in those days, to talk about bowels and things. Yeah. Unfortunately, Miss McParlin is no longer with us. I love Dunedin. I've been back recently, and I went back as I went back. I've been charge at Queen Elizabeth for many years, and I had an opportunity to go back to a charges meeting in Dunedin, or a conference, and we went to the physio school and had a tour, and that is so amazing compared to what we had. The facilities are, the labs and the kinetic machines and things. Wow, yeah, they're really, really something. But Dunedin was a really good place to be in those days. I don't recall students lighting fires and burning up their sofas and things outside their houses. Flatting was interesting exercise in those days, and trying to find somewhere to live and who to live with. We had, with one of the girls and I, found a place above a bakery in George Street at the back of the medical school. And one of the conditions were that the staff from the bakery shared the kitchen during the week. They weren't there at the weekends, so there was no Saturday shopping those days. And we were at physio school all day, so it didn't matter, but they came up and had their morning tea there, whatever. But then on Fridays, when they finished, they always left a big box of all the leftovers from the shop. So we were very popular on Friday night in our flat to see what was left for the weekend. Probably not good for us, but we really appreciated that. When we were there, we used to go out the back door of the flat, through the back door of the medical school, out the front door of the medical school, across the road, through the front door of the hospital, out the back door of the hospital, and into the front door of the physio school. That was our easiest way to get to physio school. It was just ideal place to be. 2 minutes, or getting through the hospital was a bit of a job sometimes, but that was a really quick way to get to. Don't remember too much more about student days. They seemed to come and go. You went off to a taxi would come in the second year. A taxi would come and take you off to wherever hospital you were going to do your day's work, either at Whakari with the older people. No, sorry, Whakari was the hospital up on the hill where you went and did different ward works. I remember I'd worked in the paediatric ward there and came home with German measles in those days. And the other place we went to was out to a place called Parkside, which was like an old people's home, and we did a lot of stroke rehab, etc. out there. Graduation, that was just a big event. I don't recall too much about that. And before graduation, we had to say where we would apply, where we'd like to go to the next year. Because in those days we were bursars, we were paid to be students, provided we worked 2 years for the state afterwards, which is a great way of maintaining staff. I applied for Wellington. I go back to Wellington and Masterton, because that was the closest hospital to Wellington. Nobody of our year got Wellington. It was full. One person got Masterton, and I got Rotorua. So I came to Rotorua in 1965, November 65.